I believe nothing makes us feel more human than food. It really does. It's one of the core things. I am not joking. Welcome to Entrepreneurs, the Playbook. I have a treat for you. This guy has an amazing community he's built around through his experience, his situational knowledge. He's paid the dummy tax as well, as have I, but he's created an amazing transformative event specific to a niche. He is the CEO and the founder of the incredible Restaurant365. Welcome, Tony Smith, to the Playbook.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to chat.
So it's interesting because as a CEO, there's a whole nother realm of putting on an event, a transformational event in your community. And the greatest analogy that I have is that the most difficult part of my job of being CEO of Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment was that we had the oldest and biggest Super Bowl party. And I used to tell Lee, man, if I didn't do this party, I could be 80% more productive, although the party itself created a whole year or more worth of greater experience, business development, and today, post-production content. For you, how have you been able to reconcile the extraordinary investment, time, emotion, and value that has to be put into your event, which is September, because I'm going to be there, September 21st through 23rd at the Marriott Marquis right there in the Marina in downtown San Diego.
Yeah, we're really excited about this. So the event's called the Restaurant Transformation Festival. And
RTF.
RTF. And so something that's helped us is over the years, we've done small regional events that we call the Restaurant Transformation Tour. You know, the vibe's kind of cool. Like a band going on tour, right? Like we're going to take some of this knowledge on tour around America. And so because we exist to help restaurants thrive, I mean, everything we're doing from the software we provide, making them more efficient and bringing them the intelligence they need to run their store. And so as we do that, then it's how can we bring this expertise to a group all at once? And the value we see the most is the community, right? Can we build this community? Can we give back to our community? Because this event isn't, like you said, it's not a money-making event for us, right?
Yeah.
And
show me one that really is on the day of the event.
Yeah, exactly.
In the long run, of course it is.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think so. But hopefully more than anything, we have a lot of people in our network, not just employees at Restaurant365, but other wonderful people that can come together, share brain power, a lot of customers, even the biggest brands that can all be there and chat with one another. And so we're really just trying to create an opportunity for the whole community to advance.
Yeah, and you call it a festival, which I thought was really unique as well. You know, I'm in a lot of them. I sit on the Transformational Leadership Council with all of the famous thought leaders of Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, Mary Morrissey, and many, many more that did the movie The Secret. I'm in the Beyond the Secret on Netflix, but I'm also very pragmatic in my metaphysical presence. I believe in making money, helping people, and having fun. When we look at a festival of transformation, it's an interesting, to me, perspective that needs to take place. You're a very intentional person with your business at Restaurant365, as well as with the festival. For you, what are the aspects of the event from the 21st to the 23rd in San Diego that make it more a festival than a summit, a conference?
Yeah.
It seemed very intentional to be a festival.
Well, you know, the conference is so boring, right?
Yeah.
And now you said before the Super Bowl party, so that would be a step too far. So I think somewhere between conference and party is a festival. And so we're trying to hit that line where it's a little more fun, where there's a great vibe there, where people really do feel like they're going to connect with one another versus I'm just going to go hear a bunch of things said at me, right? So that's a key, is the connection side of it.
And I think there's a certain energy or frequency with people in the hospitality industry. The customers, clients, associates, employees that you have a different frequency. I've been blessed to be around a lot of them as I've been to many relative shows that I participate in. And some are called events and summits and conferences as well as parties. And I've been to the parties as well. To you, how would you describe the neighborhood, the community? Because it seems different to me when people are in hospitality with their energy and their frequency.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, our number one core value, we have it on our wall and everything, is love good food. And it really is that we, not just the food, but we love this whole industry, right? We love our customers. We love the people involved. And it's been so fun for me to learn over the years. We started Restaurant365 about 14 years ago. And
overnight success then.
Yeah. And I wasn't a restaurant person before. I mean, I was a person who ate at restaurants.
You're a software guy, right?
But I didn't make my career in restaurants. And so outside of the 7 weeks I worked for Little Caesars when I was 17.
Wow.
That was it. And so for me early on, it was camping out at restaurants and asking the managers questions and starting to learn this industry and get to know the people, what they care about, how they think. And it's been so fun because I gained so much respect for the people in that industry. They are hard workers. They are very creative and innovative. I mean, I think one place that we really witnessed that was when COVID hit, right? When we had that pandemic and you basically had restaurants get mandated to shut down and then they had to figure out new ways to do business. So many of them did. What a resilient industry it is. And I just continually have more and more respect and love for the industry. And so it's so fun to get together with some of the people. Like you were asking what the vibe is people who are resilient, who are problem solvers, and also who love making other people happy, right? That definition of hospitality. And so that's a really fun aspect of it as well, because you get everyone together and it's like the opposite of a room of jerks.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're known by the way you make people feel, and nothing makes people feel better than good food, which is awesome. To the respect, though, every time I go to an establishment and I maybe sit outside in a parking space that was utilized during COVID, or obviously with a 15-year-old at home and 3 kids that are older, 26, 24, and 21, when I get my DoorDash bill, especially something like that or a competitor of, it's incredible when I think about the transformation that has occurred in the communities because of the transformation of Restaurant365 in the festival. Mm-hmm. And still today, there's many things as I travel the world that we're now innovating and implementing and making better here in the United States as well. In the POS systems, the CRMs, the SFAs, the variety of things. But one of the areas that is more hidden, that is more present outside of the restaurant industry is AI. Mm-hmm. But yet I know it's being utilized to transform once again. And I would have a feeling, and I'm hoping as I get to be at this event in about a month and a half down in San Diego on the 21st through the 23rd at the Marriott Marquis. So come and join me. But I'm really excited to see what types of things are going on with AI to transform the restaurant industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, AI is so interesting because we have a couple things that we are currently utilizing it for to help restaurants. But we have a whole lot on the horizon here as well. We're in this unique timing with AI where if you had said 2 years ago, it was a little too early for people to fully capitalize on it. But now it is so ripe for it, right? You have seen leaps and bounds of progress in general AI, even just in the last 6 months. And so, a couple ways we do it already in the product is helping people to get more information into the system without having to hand type it, right? And also in preparing their employees' training, when you can have AI think through what would be some good training questions and how should we lay out this training. It's pretty brilliant. But I'm really excited about this next wave that will also be coming in the coming months and year, where AI will be able to help people at another level when, help them in saving in food costs where it comes to ordering the food, when it comes to scheduling their employees, and so many things that some of the tedious tasks a person does right now that won't be quite as tedious for them anymore.
And Tony, one of the things you may or may not know about me is I'm chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute.
Oh, I didn't know.
So Napoleon Hill, my man's right here, Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil. But I believe he is the seminal personal development guru. Whether it's Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Wayne Dyer, whoever you have learned from over the years, even our great salespeople like Dennis Waitley, Zig Ziglar, etc., over the years have all taken from Think and Grow Rich the idea of what we can believe we can achieve. And I see in your industry, and I'm hoping as well at the festival, the RTF, the Restaurant Transformational Festival, September 21st through 23rd at the Marriott Marquis in San Diego, that there's a lot of personal development as well. And being someone who's chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute, I was curious for you how important you see personal development. I know a friend of ours, Sean Walchef, with Restaurant Hospitality, is absolutely aligned with me in this type of mindset, heart set, and handset. How much is that going to be present on the other side of technology, the mindset and the personal development aspect of what we believe?
Yeah, in terms of the festival itself, I really do hope people take notes. One of the things that I often tell people is don't write down what I say, right? But write down what you are learning or feeling about what's being shared. And it might not actually have anything to do with what I say. So if you do, maybe don't credit me with it because I don't want to be misquoted. Yeah. But take it for yourself and use whatever that is more than trying to take notes of what everyone's talking about. I'm a huge believer in learning. So that's giant for me. I want to just be a lifelong learner. One way I love people saying be a learn-it-all instead of a know-it-all, right?
I love that too.
And so as you think about that dynamic, sometimes people will ask me, when someone wants to get a job at Restaurant365, what would make them most successful? What are the qualities? And really, I just look for one thing, and that is a love of learning. Because if you have that, it really doesn't matter as much what background you have in it or not.
Today, right?
Things continue to change. And so you just have to be that person who's curious.
I love that. And for me, I get a $1,200 here in California reminder about what we should be taking away. Because I was someone who went to undergrad, college, law school, business school, millions of dollars in personal development, and wrote down everything. And so all I got is banker boxes that I never can figure out what's in them. So my philosophy, similar to yours, is you should capture what resonates with you. And the biggest nuance as I got older, it wasn't just, I'll give you an example. Someone out of the blue at a dinner one time said, my mom told me you're either humble or you're about to be. And it literally still chokes me up and knocks me to my knees because it's so applicable to me.
Yeah.
Like I fight that even through all the transformational work that I've done in the personal development work. I still, want to be humble and a predisposition in faith of humility. And it's just a great reminder. Those kind of things people get when you say, write down how it made you feel, right? Write this down. You may not even remember the exact quote that we just said. But the other side that was really interesting was that I started to learn if stuff bugged me. I disagreed really strongly about it. It aggravated me or agitated me. I wrote those things down because I believed that my intuition was telling me, hey, as much as this is important to you, son, the humility, figure out why this bugs you so much because it's just words. And so aligned with your philosophy, I think my rearticulation of how that works. Another area, as you have community that comes together in the aspect of transformation, is the future. And we get a guide on how many times, like you said, 2 years ago at the festival where they're like, AI is going to be important. Or, I was in technology in 92 and I remember Justice Scalia telling me, nobody will ever do research on a computer. You need books. Yep. But Westlaw was, $3.4 billion exit for me in 95. So internet seemed to work, even though my mom told me it was going to be a fad. What do you think it is now that we're going to get out of the festival where it's like 2 years from now, this is going to be something that's really important?
Yeah, it's fascinating concept thinking about over time. You see this change and evolve. When we started Restaurant365, cloud software was really just taking off. And so we had the idea to put accounting in the cloud for restaurants. And it was early enough that people were saying, are you sure people are going to want to do their accounting in the cloud? They'll be worried about the security. And we were saying yes. And a lot of people were trying to steer us away from that concept.
Just like using credit cards on the internet.
Yeah. And after you get down the way, it's like, yeah, of course they want to. And so we did see that as well, right? Those big changes. And so right now, I think most of that transformation is going to be powered in one way or another by AI over these coming years. And the way I put it now is like, if you are slow to adopt, you're pretty much going to be 2 years from now riding down the street in a horse buggy and see a Porsche drive by, right? Like that's what's about to happen if we don't embrace it from a technology perspective into our everyday workload.
Yeah, one of the other aspects of all technologies that you've been in as long as I have is it's here to make humans more human.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe nothing makes us feel more human than food. It really does. It's one of the core things. I am not joking when I look at my life and make non-negotiable decisions. It's off of what God tells me that I need to stay alive. He says, here's a body, your heart needs to beat. It's going to end when your heart stops. Everything else can stop except for your heart, and you'll be alive. But you got to sleep, you got to drink, you got to breathe, you got to move, and you got to eat.
Yeah.
Or you're going to die.
And of those, eating might be the funnest.
By far.
Right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're, probably if you're not a health freak, like for me, people think that drinking could be the funnest, but I would argue like you.
Yeah.
Eating's way more fun. Just drink water and eat, and you'll have way more fun than other things you think you're having fun with. But to that end, there's this transformational experience of eating. You've been in technology and in the business and in the emotional aspect of Restaurant365. What is it from your perspective that makes food such an unbelievable, like you said, next to breathing, probably the second favorite thing that you have to do?
Yep. Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah. I think that food is so fantastic because there's such joy, right? There's a pleasure with it. There's different experience. People love variety, right? And food brings variety into our life multiple times a day. And so I think that it brings the variety of it, and there's the pleasure, and then there's also the necessity of it. And so when you're filling a necessity in a fun way, I don't know that you can do it much better than that, because it's not like when you're out there breathing air, some of the time you can choose to breathe other air that, that sustains you in a more fun way. But food brings that. And so it's great. And I think that that's been something that's really fun.
Well, I tell people all the time, I'm looking for experience, business development, and great content. And always looking for the places to go, which is why I'm so excited to be a part of RTF, of the Restaurant Transformational Festival, September 21st through 23rd. One of the other parallels as we finish up is people will tell me, because I ran the most notable sports agency that they made the movie Jerry Maguire about, that Jerry Maguire is their favorite sports film. And I will argue that it's not a sports film. Why it was such a popular film wasn't just because of Tom Cruise and Renee Zellweger and Cuba Gooding Jr. and all the amazing Cameron Crowe script writing and one-liners, which are still available today, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's that it was a love story in the backdrop of sports. And I'm going to argue that RTF, the Restaurant Transformational Festival, is also a love story in this backdrop of restaurants. Or you could even say for you, your accounting is in the backdrop of a love story. You know, there's probably, being a lawyer, probably two of the most boring things, law and accounting.
Yeah.
More people probably hate lawyers, but unless you're the IRS, then it might be close.
Yeah.
But think about it. You're using this love backdrop to accelerate transformation, even though the subject matter, topic, and expertise may be a boring one with accounting for Restaurant365 or legal sports law, whatever that is. Is that a fair assessment for the RTF, that we're going to have this festival of love with the backdrop of the restaurants?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like I said at the start there, our number one core value is love good food, right? So that word is there. And it is true that accounting is not sexy, but it is necessary, right? And so really our goal is, let us take a number of these things that aren't as fun so that you can do more of the things, these people who are so good at hospitality, you can do more of those things you love, which is serving the guests and taking care of them, while we do some of the tedious and meaningless things for you and really free you up. And it's interesting you talked about sports movies. One of them that I really love is A League of Their Own. One of my favorite quotes, right?
Although people think I look like John Lovitz, so I have a catch-22.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah,
that's the ticket.
Were you weren't thinking Tom Cruise from Jerry Maguire?
Yeah, I wish. Nobody's ever said that. They've always said John Lovitz from A League of Your Own.
That is funny. But yeah, in A League of Their Own, they're near the end. The star player is about to quit, right? And Tom Hanks, the coach, he says, "Why are you quitting?" She says, "It got too hard." And he gives one of my favorite quotes of anywhere, and he says, it's supposed to be hard, right?
Yes.
If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. The hard is what makes it great. And that's part of what I think about what we try to do for restaurants, right? Is let us do some of these hard things so that you can do the hospitality side and really make it great. And so anyways, that's a quote that I love from him.
I love that quote too. And Tony Smith, one of the things I love about what Restaurant365 does and why I'm so excited about being a part of the Restaurant Transformation Festival, September 21st through 23rd at the Marriott Marquis in the Harbor, the Marina in San Diego downtown, is that I have a philosophy that's aligned with what you've been doing for years, which is Restaurant365 and RTF, the Restaurant Transformation Festival. It allows us to love what we don't like and don't love about what we love. And I promise you, most of us don't like or love accounting, but we love food and we love restaurants and we love people in the food and restaurant industry, and that we go and eat at these establishments. So if you want to learn to love what you don't like or love about what you love, then come and join me at the RTF, the Restaurant Transformational Festival, September 21st through 23rd in San Diego at the Marina downtown at the Marriott Marquis. Join Tony Smith and I. We want to thank Restaurant365 for hosting us at this Love Fest. Tony Smith, extraordinary entrepreneur, and I just want to tell you how excited I am for including me in the RTF. Thank you so much for joining me on the Playbook.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
The incredible Tony Smith. I'm David Meltzer. This is Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.